So let me start by introducing the mayor of Oakland, the Honorable Libby Schaaf.
No mayor could dream of a better CEO partner than Bernard Tyson. And yet some of my favorite memories of Bernard were kind of personal, kind of down home. Andrew Hatch was a 117-year-old Kaiser Permanente member. And somehow it reached Bernard's attention that he was in good enough health to be at home with his loving daughter in Oakland, but that he didn't have an actual hospital bed. He was sleeping on a regular bed, and when someone asked him how he was doing, he said, "I'm fine, but I'm a little uncomfortable at night." So not only did Bernard have a high-tech, top-of-the-line hospital bed delivered to his home, he actually came with it personally to ensure that Mr. Hatch was comfortable and happy. He came personally, without TV cameras, without a big hullabaloo, because he cared. That's who Bernard was. Bernard was an incredible partner to me. In fact, you know, mayors, I know probably a lot of you kind of cross the street when you see your mayor coming. We're often, you know, fundraising for something or another. I'm no exception to that. Oakland has a lot of needs. And Kaiser just would always say yes to everything. And along with another dear friend that we all miss, one of my mentors, Mayor Ed Lee, we were part of forming a bipartisan coalition of mayors from across the country who had the direction to find a CEO to partner with, to create a politician, business person, lobbying force to really get the federal government to reinvest in housing. And I didn't want to ask Bernard, because your CEO actually had to pay your entry fee into this lobbying organization. So I wrote him a very sheepish email saying, "Don't worry, I have other people I can ask, but I didn't want to hurt your feelings that I didn't ask you first." And he said, "Oh, Libby, I insist on being your CEO. And if the mayors of Portland and Baltimore don't have a CEO yet, I will cover them as well." And this led to Kaiser Permanente announcing a $200 million commitment to homelessness and affordable housing. Now, Bernard was very intimidating as a public speaker. He loved to remind everyone that he was the son of a minister, so don't give him a microphone. But he always had that, "I've never forgotten where I've come from, and I'm very clear where I'm going" sort of presence. Just awesome to behold. And I won't name names, but another thing mayors get is business people texting you saying, "Can you get rid of that homeless encampment in front of my building I'm trying to market?" That happens. Well, Bernard would text me and say, "How can we house this homeless encampment that I see every day when I get off the freeway on my way to work?" And that it is unacceptable that anyone calls the streets of America their home. When Bernard led and inspired the Bay Area Council to really take on the issue of homelessness, he did it with such a sense of bigger purpose, not just for the Bay Area, not just for where Kaiser Permanente does business, but literally as a person that is a member of the human race and has a sense of basic decency. And when it came time to unveil the first ever regional analysis of homelessness done by the Bay Area Council's Economic Institute, He was very clear he did not want to announce this study in the boardroom of Kaiser Permanente or in Oakland City Hall, but rather in the dining hall of St. Vincent de Paul's, where the very people who would be impacted by his work could be nearby. I want to end on a little bit more of a positive note. I kind of am bummed out a little bit for our honorees tonight, that you are here to be honored tonight, and yet the tone of the evening is probably not as celebratory as it might have been. And yet I believe that the three of you really represent some of what Bernard represented. Meg Whitman, you are a visionary business leader who is not afraid of politics. John Sobranto, you like housing. Bernard liked housing. And also, like him, you have set a new bar in what philanthropic impact means. And then who doesn't love Alice Waters? We all know Bernard liked good food and good wine, but also he had an expansive, compassionate, bigger than life vision of what health is. And Alice, certainly you have led the way in that type of vision as well. So I think that he would feel that tonight's honorees are quite fitting in partnership with a tribute to him. And last but not least, the sign of every great leader, aside from the fact that, he did like to talk about how Salesforce Tower may be taller, but the new Thrive Tower in Oakland was going to be bigger. Mark Benioff, pay attention, bigger. But what gives me hope and joy in this moment of sadness, is that Bernard Tyson brought together a team of leaders at Kaiser Permanente, built an organization that is so mission-driven, that is so infused with his values and his vision, that I have no doubt that Bernard Tyson's actions, his intentions for the work ahead will absolutely be fulfilled. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.